Hey everyone, Karnak here, Star Wars Armada Explained. We're going to take a look at the objective SensorNet today. So SensorNet, it is a long objective to be read. A few things to work through. We'll dive right in. It says, setup. After placing obstacles, the players alternate placing a total of 4 objective tokens in the setup area. Starting with the first player. Each token must be placed in the setup area beyond distance 5 of both players' edges and beyond distance 3 of all other objective tokens. Before we go into the special rule, let's go ahead and just get the board set up. So the objective is after deploying the obstacles. So let's go ahead and deploy obstacles as normal, which is again, beyond distance 3 of both players' edges, beyond distance 1 of each other. I know it's confusing. Some of the cards say deploy obstacles as normal. Some of them don't say that. And people are like, oh, see, it doesn't say it. You can do whatever you want. It's like, no, that's not. It assumes you're going to automatically deploy the obstacles as it states in the rulebook, which is, again, beyond distance 3 of both players' edges, beyond distance 1 of each other, unless the objective card states otherwise. Okay. So we're going to throw obstacles out. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Those are all beyond distance 1 of each other. I don't know why I put them all. We can, get them further out. There we go. Perfect. Great. Second part of this is that there are 4 objective tokens that need to be set up. The first player actually sets his token out first. So each player gets 2. Yoink and yoink. The Empire player will be second. The Rebel player is first. So these tokens must be set in the setup area beyond distance 5 of both players' edges. That's the second line from the top or from the bottom. That's distance 5 here and here from both players' edges. So essentially, you're setting those tokens in the square box here. So first player will put a token there, right distance 5. Maybe second player puts his token here. The other part of these is that the all tokens must be beyond distance 3 of each other. Let's go ahead and put that down. Check distance 3. In Vassal, it shows distance 1 is black, 2 is red, 3 is this orange, 4 is this peach color, and 5 is yellow. So we just need to make sure that we're beyond orange. Something like that. Perfect. That's beyond 3. Same thing with this one. And these tokens can be placed overlapping obstacles if you so choose, or on obstacles. It doesn't matter which, and this one we're going to place like right here. Again, all these tokens are beyond distance 3 from each other. They're all beyond distance 5 of each player's edge. And that is setup. Is there anything that can move these objective tokens during deployment? Or during the obstacles or during deployment? Not at this time. Obviously, obstacles can get moved around by interdictors. But, once the tokens go down, that's what they are. Obviously, that's going to reflect where action is going to take place and how fleets are deployed. Typically, this objective is vastly taken by fleets that are doing the strategic game. There we go. Why is that? Let's look at the special rule, which, by the way, this objective card doesn't have any errata or clarifications, which, is helpful, because this objective is one you can rack up a lot of points with if you come prepared. If you don't come prepared, you're going to see a lot of points. The more you try to tighten your grip, the more slips through your fingers with these. So special rule reads, when a ship reveals a command dial, an important part to remember, if it is at distance 1 of at least 1 objective token, its owner, meaning the ship's owner, as in the player's owner, gains 1 victory token. Some people have been like, no, I own that token because I placed it, so if you claim it, I get the token. It's like, no, that's not how that works. Because that's not the interpretation. When it says its owner, it means the ship that is revealing the command dial. Just want to make sure I'm clarifying that. Again, same deal. Then its owner, meaning the ship that revealed the command dial, chooses one of those objective tokens. The opposing player must move that token. If he is the first player, he moves the token so it's at distance 1 to 2 of its current location. If he is the second player, he moves it so it is at distance 1 to 4 of its current location. Alright. So, how does this work? Let's dive right in. So we'll say the second player has deployed something like that. First player has deployed something like this. Obviously, don't deploy like that. And each side has brought squadrons that can move objective tokens around. Now, the part about when a ship reveals a command dial is important, because a ship actually does need to reveal its command dial in order to claim the token. Meaning that if you have a crit card like, oh gosh, where am I even going to look for that? Is there a damage deck I can look at? But you know what? It's right over here. Here we go. Hold on. References. Here we are. Which card is it? Here we go. Crew Panic, which is before you reveal command dial, you either suffer 1 damage or you discard that dial. If you discard it, you do not reveal a dial this round. So there are some crits where it's like, they'll have negative effects unless you discard the dial, and that's one of them. So you could, under Crew Panic, choose to discard that dial and not reveal it. If you do that, though, in CensorsNet case, you cannot claim any objective tokens if you are at distance 1 of 1. I want to make sure I'm pointing that out. Things like skilled first officers. If you are a command 1 ship, and for whatever reason you have skilled first officers, I don't know why you would, but you know, skilled first officers, you discard a dial before you reveal it. On a command 1 ship, it means you have no more dials that you can choose from to reveal, meaning that you reveal nothing. Obviously, if you still have a command deck underneath the top command dial that you discard, if you reveal skilled first officers, you have the next command that you can reveal. Another thing I want to point out is that Thrawn's dials are not revealed. You only ever reveal 1 command dial on a ship. Okay, because Thrawn is... Let me bring him up real quick, or I can even look him up in the pieces. Because his just says, if you use one of his dials, you place it on a ship. Before each friendly ship activates, it gains a dial. So again, if you go watch my Thrawn video, you'll see that me and Ian Cross, the World Judge, we have a huge thing about what is revealing a dial and what is gaining a dial. Remember, Thrawn just allows you to gain a dial that he revealed in the ship phase, not attached to any ship, which doesn't count for CensorNet at all. So it's only the physical ship's dial itself that reveals that can claim the token. So if you do anything that discards that dial or essentially says that you don't reveal a command, you can't claim a token. I think I've covered it. I think you guys get it. And remember, you need to be at distance 1 of at least 1 token to gain a victory token. What happens if you're in a range of 2, 3, 4, all of them? You only gain 1 victory token. You do not gain 1 victory token for each one that is at distance 1. It specifically says, if you're at range of at least 1 objective token, you gain 1 victory token. It doesn't say gain 1 for each. And again, I've seen some players get that wrong. So what is being at distance 1? So at, you see here, this black circle's distance 1, as we mentioned. Distance 2 is this red circle. So anything that is at distance 1 is just like the corner of a ship. That is at distance 1. What doesn't count are shield dials. Shield dials and shield frames do not count for being at distance 1. It needs to be the physical component of the ship, such as the plastic base, not the shield dials themselves. Now, when you're arranging for the it doesn't need to be to the cardboard. That's only if you're making an attack. It just needs to be to the physical, clear plastic base of the ship itself. Again, not the shield dials. So when you have a ship that is at distance 1 of the token, you reveal your dial, claim your victory token, and then, as it states to follow on with the card, and by the way, you do have to claim a token. There is no option because it says when a ship reveals. So if you reveal a dial and you are at distance 1 of a token, you have to claim it. You have to get a victory token. It is not optional in any way. So you claim it. So if you're first player, you can only move this token distance 1 to 2 from its current location. So you can only move it like that far. That's about as far as away as you can get, either there, or you can throw it over here, again, at distance 2 of its current location. If you're the second player, so that's the case if the second player, oh my gosh, let me back up. If the first player, okay, I got this. Okay, so if the second player claims a token, the first player can only move that token at distance 1 to 2. If it is the first player, in the case of the rebels up here being first, if it's the first player claiming this token, that token, the second player can move a distance of 1 to 4, which you can see here, which is all the way out here. So this token can go from here to all the way down here. So you can probably start guessing already, like, wow, that seems really good for the second player. And it is. Because essentially these just get moved away from the first player. So the first player only ever can really claim a few, unless he has brought squadrons that can help him counteract that effect with like VCXs or lambdas that have the strategic, which allow them to move at distance 1 of a token, and then they can move that token to be at distance 1 anywhere around them. So that is one way you can combat the effects of CensorNet if you are first player. But as you can see, if you're second player, you've planned for this objective. You're bringing your own strategic squadrons that even if your opponent moves that token, distance 1 to 2 away, well, the Lambda comes up, yoinks it right back. So he's keeping those tokens near his ships so that they're not getting moved away and that he can keep claiming tokens over and over again. Let's see here. And that's pretty much CensorNet. I mean, there is no crazy things going on. I do want to make a note, though, that something like fighter coordination teams, which is after you execute a maneuver, a squadron at close to medium can move a distance of 1. So to bring that piece out real quick, just so you can see the upgrade card. Support team, fighter coordination team. After you execute a maneuver, you may select a number of unengaged friendly squadrons up to your squadron value of close to medium range. These squadrons may move up to distance 1. So, for example, these lambdas, if they were pushed by a fighter coordination team, they can move. And again, strategic is activated anytime a squadron completes a move, not an overlap. Overlaps don't count as a movement. But fighter coordination teams, if it pushes that squadron and it gets within distance 1 of a token, it can grab it and move it. And then you can then activate, squadrons, and you can see get a lot of interaction there with that. One very unique thing to note is with SWAE, and I believe this is currently the only ship until the officer Admiral Ozzel gets released anyway. Please note that SWAE has a title, or the Quasar Fire has a title, and it's called SWAE, which is, note the timing, when you activate, you may choose 3 unengaged friendly squadrons at close to medium range. So when you activate is before you reveal a dial, and that is in the FAQ. I haven't covered this card yet, but so when you activate is before you reveal a command dial is when the timing of this takes place. So you could activate your lambdas, grab tokens, throw them to your Quasar Fire, and then it reveals its dial, and then it can claim a token. Okay, I want to make sure I'm pointing out that that timing is still all viable, still legal. I know it's caught a few people off guard at some tournaments that I've been to. So yeah, that is CensorNet. There is, as far as I'm aware, no other crazy interactions, no other crazy things going on. Oh, I do want to point out one thing about objective tokens. What happens for whatever reason, there's objective token, this V6 grabs it, he's at the edge of the play area. Can you throw objective tokens off the table? The answer to that question is technically we don't know. However, based on, if you look at my Capture the VIP video, if you look at a couple other things that have been going that are in terms of like rulings and other things of that nature, the objective tokens cannot move off the table. They have to stay in the play area. You can put them on the edge of the mat, but they cannot leave the play area. Also, when a developer was asked in person about that, his response was, and I quote, "That's absolutely absurd," end quote. Is that an official statement? No. That is a personal developer's response to that question, not to be taken as fact. However, based on that statement, based on other things we have seen ruling-wise, my personal ruling would be the tokens cannot leave the play area. For one thing, that's a really dick move. Second thing is, if you ever get in a situation where that's going on, like you've got worse problems. So don't throw objective tokens off the table. Okay. I don't think there's anything else that I'm aware of that I need to cover. Do keep in mind, another thing too is that you can daisy chain with strategic, the token. So like something like this, you can grab that, move it there, and then this guy can come over and grab that, and then he can move it over here. That is totally a thing you can do. But of course, if you guys saw anything you think is wrong or anything is an error, please be sure to point it out. Let me know. Make a comment. I do respond to all of my comments. I appreciate you guys' support. And like always, I'll catch you next time.